Hello. I'm going to talk to you now for a few minutes about the fourth wall. We often use the phrase breaking the fourth wall, so I'd like to use this lecture to explain the phrase and to explore the concept. To begin, the phrase comes from the theater, specifically the way a stage's set represents reality. As you know from your experience, most plays happen on a set that represents a room. Here's a diagram of a stage. You might want to pause this video and get familiar with these labeled parts. Knowing these terms can help you as you keep reading plays to better understand the stage directions and get a clear mental picture of what's going on in the play. For purposes of this lecture, concentrate on these dotted lines that represent walls for the set. As you can see, the set has a back wall and side walls, but where is the front wall? Well, it's right here, between where the action happens and where the audience sits. Because a real wall would keep us from seeing the action, we all pretend that there's an invisible wall that completes this imaginary room. Sometimes, however, a character in a play might violate that agreement we have to pretend the wall is there by addressing an audience through it. And to do this, as you might have guessed, is to break the fourth wall. And now that we know what that phrase means, we can ask ourselves why an author would want to break the fourth wall. Why an author would want to violate this agreement between the work of literature and the audience. I can think of a couple of reasons. First, a writer might want to achieve an effect of intimacy by having characters address us directly. This breaking of the fourth wall seems to invite the audience to take part in the story. A character addressing us kind of makes us part of the story we're reading, and so we might have a more intimate experience of the story, and that's what the author is looking for. On the other hand, an author can break the fourth wall to point out the illusion that literature creates. The author might want to remind us of the difference between actual reality, the reality we live in, and the representation of that reality we see in a play or a story. An author might not want us to experience the story along with the characters, but rather to observe the characters from outside, thinking of the story as something different from, but maybe resembling, that lived reality. I hope this lecture has helped you think more about what authors do when they break the fourth wall. As you keep reading literature, and especially as you keep seeing performances, you might keep paying attention to how and why characters do this. We often find what seems like strange behavior. The idea of addressing an audience when we're supposed to pretend that the audience isn't really there can lead to discovery of deeper meanings in a work of literature. As always, thank you for your time and attention.